Live and Local is proudly sponsored by Community Savings Bank, working together with you. I'm on Communications, your source for cable, internet, and phone service. And Blair Ridge Dental, your smile, our passion.
This is a presentation of KCRG TV9 Sports.
This is a journey.
And we welcome you to Iowa City West High School, the home of the Trojans, or the Women of Troy, as the case is tonight, as we bring you Mississippi Valley Conference Volleyball on KCRG 9.2. The Iowa City West Women of Troy playing host to the Linn-Mar Lions. Ryan Schlater here along with Barb Randall, ready to take you through tonight's contest, where the Linn-Mar Lions visiting tonight with an 8-13 record, taking on a team that's red hot right now with some key victories, and that would be Iowa City West at 19-5. We're only moments away from the start of tonight's contest. We'll give you some more pregame activities, including the starting lineup here as we continue our volleyball coverage here on KCRG 9.2.
Where to look, because if I look at the TV, I look stupid. If I look at you, you see the back of my head. I know. Sometimes I feel like she can't hear me, and then all of a sudden she pops into my ear.
When I'm doing radio, I'm like wandering, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's a good reminder.
So just don't talk. Oh.
What? All about credibility. Aaron, will you be cueing starting lineups then when they're up on the screen? Okay, thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's Mississippi Valley Conference matchup between the 7 and 11 Linn-Mar Lions and 4A second-ranked 19-5 West High Trojans.
Hello, I'm CJ Drew, President of the West High Student Senate, and I would like to read you the following statement. The schools playing tonight believe that good sportsmanship is paramount during all activities. Fan behavior should show respect and appreciation for the
Back at Iowa City West High School this evening for tonight's game. And Iowa City West, the Women of Troy and the Linn-Mar Lions. We mentioned Linn-Mar at 8-13, the Women of Troy at 19-5. Barb, you got a quality team here in Iowa City West. They're coming off a great run, knocking off some #1 teams. You had City High in 4A, Wahlert in Class 3A, and teams that have certainly identified themselves as being a great volleyball team. And this squad here certainly doesn't want to let down here tonight to continue to play on their home court.
Well, this should be an interesting match because we talked to Coach Bresnahan beforehand, and she is worried about a letdown. They've had a great run. They've had a very emotional season so far, and she knows that on paper her team should win tonight. But she also knows that that's why we play the match, is because Linn-Mar could come out. They've had a great season the last 2 seasons, qualified for state. They're young this year. They don't have a lot of experience, but that's a perfect time to beat a #2 ranked team in the state.
That's right. Only 3 returnees, and essentially for head coach Rob Justice's squad, they're playing different positions right now. It's been a learning curve. It's been a learning process for them, but he, like Iowa City West, feels that his team is getting better as the season goes along, but sometimes it's tough when you run into a wall and realize, oh, no, we're going to play one of the hottest teams right now in the state of Iowa. How do you see him really going forward with this, knowing that, they're going against the Big Yum? We'll talk about that here in just a few moments as we will continue onward here with a look at our national anthem coming before us here from the gymnasium here in Iowa City West High School.
Oh, say, can you see bright dawn's early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets spread there, dawn bursting in air, gave proof to the dark night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Just moments away from the start of tonight's contest. So get set to bring you the starting lineups, and to continue on with that point, Barb, Rob Justice, essentially his players will take the field, and what do? Essentially go with your strengths here tonight.
Well, and here are the starters, and they do have 3 returning starters from last year's team, but like you said, they're playing different positions than they were last year. And so that should be interesting, but they really have nothing to lose.
Miranda Vick sick today from what we understand, so DeLecki will be inserted into the starting lineup. Another senior to be played at an outside hitter, and for Iowa City West, a good group of veterans and a lot of talent coming back this year.
And they have 2 All-Staters who return from their team, Stumpf and Fairfield. And they really, like I said earlier, on paper they should win this match, but, very few things go as they should on paper.
Never seems to quite work out that way. Yeah, Stumpf, 216 kills, 3.14 is what she'll get per set. So certainly a pretty good average on the offensive end for the women of Troy. The Kelly Gree unis, the white on the sleeves and the black pants, and Linn-Mar in their black uniforms. As the officials getting lined up and checking their charts and making sure everybody's lined up as per inserted in their lineup, Kylie Kopic, the 5'4" sophomore, one of many sophomores to play, will serve for the Lions right away. West attacks from the left side, dug up and goes out, and West with the side out and the first point of tonight's ball game.
Well, and you can see right there why Stumpf is one of the top players. She's committed to Wingate next year, and she has a lot of power behind that arm of hers.
Linn-Mar's first attempt at the tack, and the hitting error occurs. Megan Almendinger, and again, Almendinger, one of those pivotal offensive players that Linn-Mar hoping to step it up and provide a good bulk of the offense tonight. 2-0 to score. And another error, and quickly West up 3-0. So, I don't know, maybe start a few jitters here to get things going.
Well, and tough serving is one way for a team to get the game going, because if you can't have a good pass, then you can't do anything on offense.
Schmecki to Almendinger, blocked back over to Linn-Mar, then off the court and out.
Point, Iowa City.
Schmidt tried to get her hand on that, but it was just a little bit out of reach that time.
Anna Pashkova, the 5'5" senior, the libero, and here's Schmecki. They'll try to set the left side, and very quickly able to find that side, and I think they found an opening around the block and put it down for the side out.
And here, let's take a look at that again. You see that she went inside the block, which is where the defender is supposed to be, but the defender was just a little bit too deep in the court, which is not always a bad thing.
Holdgrave for a nice serve. The setup to the net. Free ball over by Olivia Fairfield. Linn-Mar back toward the middle. Nice block of the net for Iowa City West. Olivia Fairfield right there. The West Point commitment.
Iowa City West really has a couple nice athletes. They play well together as a team. They gel well, and they've had a lot to go through this year to work on that chemistry. They've, lost a player who was critical to their team, and I think that has helped them kind of come together a little bit.
Yeah, the chemistry is slowly getting to where head coach Kathy Bresnahan would like their team to be. Jump serve. Linn-Mar, quick set goes over to the left again. A nice block, solid by Fairfield and Fleeler. There's Iowa City West. Off the deflection. And at the net, played up by West. They go to the left side. Tapped over the net, left side, Molly Mason. And goes off just a little bit too long, and that'll give the point to the Linn-Mar Lions. Go to the sophomore Schmidt. Too long. Well, a new rotation coming in. Lainey Whitehead, 6'1", a freshman. Good group of freshmen, I think, that we'll be seeing over the next few years for the women of Troy.
Well, and Coach Bresnahan talked about that in a couple years they'll be real strong again. They're coming off a state championship last year, and I'm sure they've got that on their minds for this year and probably every year.
Mason
Great
and Fairfield
program.
with the block, and we go with Fleeler on the serve.
And Fleeler is not naturally a setter. She was playing a different position until 2 weeks before the season started. They lost Caroline Found, the setter for the Iowa City West team, and Fleeler has stepped in and done a nice job. And the team's really come around and helped her with that.
So already commanding a 7-point lead. Boy, the quick to the right, and again blocked by Iowa City West. Molly Mason getting hands up, a nice textbook block that time for the women of Troy.
And West does a really nice job of being in every play. Kathy Bresnahan, makes sure that everybody is where they're supposed to be and that there's no giving up, and they go for it. And sometimes when you're late, not saying that they were late that time, but sometimes when you're late, that's when you get the block because you just go no matter what.
As we take a look at this replay again, they are setting up and trying to make something happen on the opposite side. Again, West there for the block. They go toward the middle this time, and over the front row block. They do the back set. Off left side, the lefties lets it go. Whitehead, and a little, goes down.
Let's take a look at that one again, as we have the lefty on the right side, which there's nothing I like better than that, Ryan.
As the score is 12-2 and a timeout for the Linn-Mar Lions, when you face a left-handed hitter, obviously that brings some challenges. Well, I mean, it can for your offense, but you're used to practicing that. When you're defending that, if you're not used to that, how do you adjust your block?
Well, first and foremost, any defender should be watching the hitter's shoulder. However, sometimes it's hard to remember that hitter's actually hitting with their left hand versus their right hand. So you just have to make sure that you're paying attention to the correct shoulder and reading what her body's doing, and that should tell you everything. It's just not that easy.
Women of Troy already back out onto the court. Rob Justice still in conversation with his squad.
And I'm sure he's talking to the team about, it is only 1 point at a time. You can't make up the 10 points that they're behind, so you just have to do it 1 point at a time and work to get a side out here, and then work each time for 1 point rather than letting West go on a run like this.
Here's Fleeler, Linn-Mar, they send it to the middle. Free balled over by Kylie Kopic, not exactly what they wanted to do. Here's one spinning off the hands of Fairfield, back over for Linn-Mar. They'll try a swing and into the net.
Well, Linn-Mar's playing decent defense. They're getting balls up, and they just aren't, we'll see it here on the replay that they got the ball up. They just weren't able to get the ball back to West.
Whitehead serve. Floats out for Weldon, the libero, and they tried, and again blocked by Iowa City West.
that's just a nice strong block by Iowa City West. The quick hit on the right behind the setter, and both blockers were there with their arms penetrating over the net. Nice form there.
Well, it looks like Linn-Mar may have been out of rotation on the serve.
That's what the ref is telling them. And for people who are not familiar with volleyball, it is kind of tricky. It's hard to explain, and you can't overlap the player next to you or the player behind you if you're in the front row. So it's kind of a tricky thing, but once you get it, you got it.
Let's try to stack that defense many times. There's Taylor Galecki, the 5'8 senior. She puts it away, and Linn-Mar gets the point. And the serve coming up for Megan Allmendinger.
Well, and our understanding is Galecki isn't used to starting. That was a surprise to the coach tonight when he found out that Miranda Vick was sick today. So that's a little bit of a change for Linn-Mar as well.
Fairfield pushes that one over for Iowa City West, but a bit too long. 15-4 West lead. Linn-Mar with the serve. Goes toward the middle. They'll set it toward the middle. Again, the lefty, but this time nicely played up by Linn-Mar. Whoop, double hit.
That was actually a really tough, and it doesn't look as tough, but with the lefty hitting what we call a 3 like that, it's a quicker set. The ball's coming across her body quickly. That's actually a tough thing to do. That was very nicely executed.
And Fairfield, here's the pass by Fries. They go off left side on the run. Gonsoski trying to put her down.
Substitution number 3, Audra Sheminsky checks in.
And Gonsoski doing a good job getting it over the block.
Serving.
And those are the kinds of things that Linn-Mar's going to have to do. They're going to have to mix up what they're doing so that they're not always doing the same thing. Do some off-speed shots, do some shots to different parts of the court, and just try and find a piece of wood.
Linn-Mar back on the attack. A free balled over by the libero Emma Weldon. Go with Whitehead. Again, dug out to the back row. They'll try it again. There's Holdgrafer. The set goes left side. Not yet. Good rally here. Nice dig. Emma Weldon that time. And this time, Linn-Mar, they just kept it battling, and they'll get the point.
Well, and as they get used to doing that, that's going to help them each time. As you see here, we'll watch the replay. And Emma Weldon, you know, Coach Justice was just telling us that they are getting used to having her take every single ball that she can get to on defense. If she can get to it, they want her to take it. And so, you know, she's showing that that's why she's in that position.
And Molly Mason. Comes to West back. They go over to Whitehead. And put down.
There's that lefty on the right side. Again, the reason that is so nice is because that is her strong side. Normally, an outside hitter, a right-handed outside hitter, that's their strong side. And so when you have a right-handed right side hitter, the ball has to cross your body, which is always tougher. For a lefty, doesn't have to do that.
Oh, Kirsten Fries was ready to pass the ball, and then at the last second she hesitated and said, I think it's going to be out. She knows she made the bad call. She says, my bad. Iowa City West up 19-6. They continue to serve. This one goes right into the net.
Well, and those calls are hard, you know, and if it's close, you just want to play it because you don't want to make the mistake that the other team scores a point off that.
There's Allmendinger. This is played up in the front row, actually, then passed off to the left side, and Shelley stumped.
What a great set by Fleeler. That time she had to take the ball coming from behind her and turn. The blind set. Turn, and she put it up there for number 11, Shelley Stump, and what a great set. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Schmidt goes off to the right side. Claire Tupper tries to pull it right off the block. Unfortunately, does go out of bounds.
Pashkova did a really nice thing that time of staying on the line so she can use the line as a defender. If she knows if the ball is to her left, she's not going to touch it, and that helps make the call.
Pashkova with the pass. Back over the net by West. Here comes Linn-Mar back in the other way. Block trying to save up. Couldn't quite get it out of there. And that'll give it back to Linn-Mar, an additional point.
Checking in, number 21 checking
That is what I would call a traditional Kathy Bresnahan team. They don't give up. They're in every play. They're up by 13 points, and they still are fighting. And she's been doing that for the last 20-plus years here at Iowa City West.
Allmendinger and Kopic back in. Allmendinger with the serve. And the point. Give it to Shelly Stumpf again.
That was a nice play by West as we see that. The ball is a little bit outside, and she has to transition a little bit differently and use her arm differently, but she still is able to get the cross-court kill.
point, Linn-Mar. Substitution.
Rare service error by Pashkova.
Checks in.
A .96 serve efficiency, so, she's been very effective from the serve. That one couldn't quite get the let serve or get it over the tape, so Linn-Mar, big deficit, but battling here from Iowa City West. And the set, free balled over. We'll try it. Pushed over by 2. Nice play by the Lions.
Nice shot by Holgrafer. She saw the deep corner was wide open. The defense for West had not shifted over, and she just pushed it back there right inside the corner.
Holgrafer again. And the set, they'll try Fairfield to the left. And it is dug up by Kopic. Pashkova getting that one out of there. They'll try left side, Gonsoski. Nice dig out of there for Molly Mason. West back on the attack. That one goes into the net. Point Linn-Mar Lions.
Both teams did a nice job that time of letting the libero take the ball in the first play and being in position to transition. Coach Bresnahan, before the match, talked a little bit about picking up their tempo and playing a little faster speed, and you can tell they're trying to get that going, and when they control the speed, they win the game, is one of the things that she said. So that's one of the things they're always pushing to do.
Back to serve, it will be Shelly
Let's take a look at Stumpf's hit right off the top of the block of Allmendinger and Schmidt. And another net serve.
Point, Lions.
I'm sure Coach Bresnahan isn't thrilled about those,
No.
but when it's 23-12, I'm sure she's not as worried about them. But it's one of those things you have to get your team. Don't let up. Stay in this. What a nice swing and what a nice set. That was like we've been seeing. We've been seeing a lot of what we call threes, but that set was great. It was right height, just above the block, and perfect for Fairfield to just come up and hit right over the block.
Fleeler, the setter, floats this one up. And coming over, Holdgrafer.
Nice swing. That was Megan Allmendinger. We haven't seen them use the right side a lot, but that was a great play by them, and hopefully that will fire them up a little bit and tell them, hey, we should be using that right side a little bit more. Cross court, perfect spot.
Well, they have to retrieve the volleyball, get it to the right player as Kirsten Fries, 5'7" senior. In the back row. Served up. Fleeler goes left side. Not that time for Whitehead.
One of the things that West is doing well, and it's kind of the unspoken skill, is they're passing really well. They wouldn't be able to run all these quick sets and all these faster plays without good passing, and they are putting the ball on the set, so she's able to run quick sets all night.
That one's put away by Olivia Fairfield. And there you have it, Iowa City West on top of set number 1, 25-14. Iowa City West over the Linn-Mar Lions. Back after this quick timeout on KCRG 9.2. She said break, not just set. Yeah.
Yep. You tell us. When are we supposed to read these promo mentions?
Okay. Like when Barb is talking.
Okay, you can interrupt me anytime. So do we go back to the first set one or to the second set one, or how do we?
Last time to get funky. To the right now.
Okay.
To the left. Take it back now.
So they aren't like ads. We don't have to do make goods or anything. Okay.
Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Crisscross.
Okay.
Crisscross. Chop, real smooth. Let's go to work. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. 2 hops this time. 2 hops this time. Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees.
I hate the cha-cha slide. No.
Okay, West High students, how many of you are going to the home?
Set number 1 goes to Iowa City West by the score of 25-14. Ryan Schlater along with Barb Randall. And, you know, Iowa City West, they started off, they jumped out to a good lead there, but Linn-Mar battled back, made a game out of that first set, Barb, and they showed some improvement here.
They did, and they need to keep doing that kind of stuff, looking for open spots on the court, trying different shots, and serving tougher so that Iowa City West can't pass as easily.
And as we say, that game had a few deliberate breaks in there where Linn-Mar had a chance to compose themselves and try to get in the swing of things. They started off really sluggish, so we'll see how they react to that as the teams switch sides here for the second go-round.
Well, and it's a little bit intimidating coming in and playing last year's defending state champion team, last week's team that beat the #1 ranked team in the state, and a program that is traditionally strong every year. So I'm sure Linn-Mar has kind of gotten used to it a little bit, and they're hopefully have a game plan that's going to help them play a little tougher this set.
Yeah, Iowa City West has not gone to 5 sets at all yet throughout some of these regular season games.
Well, and some of that's a little bit of a surprise, only because, not because it's of the coaching or anything like that, but the players are in, some of them are in different positions. They've had a lot to deal with this season, and so it's, you know, you would think that some of that would take a little bit out of them, and it hasn't seemed to do it. It seemed to make them a little stronger.
Shelly Stump to get West on the board first. And Olivia Meckies, 5'6" senior, to serve. They do the quick, off to Enfeld. And played up. We have a whistle. Double hit on Linn-Mar.
Iowa City West does a really nice job of transitioning, and Linn-Mar is also picking that up, learning as they go that, hey, it's not going to take just one hit for us to finish this. We're going to have to play with them and make sure that we're in our positions. So hopefully they'll be able to, as they go along, improve. And so far this season, their coaches talked about how well they've done and improved.
Meckies to continue to serve on down the right side. Pass on her knees there by Megan Allmendinger. And again, an Iowa City West point. And off to another strong start. Linn-Mar at 8-13. The women of Troy from Iowa City West at 19-5 so far in the season. Holdgrafer played up, dumped over by Kelly Fleeler. She puts it down for Iowa City West.
Fleeler learned that is a successful play. She's done it twice in a row now, and it's gone to the exact same spot. And, you know, Coach Justice for Linn-Mar needs to make sure that he's got someone covering that spot, because she's going to keep trying it.
That one goes down. Looked like a bit of miscommunication by Iowa City West, and Linn-Mar getting their first point of set number 2.
Well, and when the setter takes the first ball, you know, you really have to over-communicate because it is a little confusing as to who's going to take that next ball, where is it, who's closest to it, that kind of thing. And so you do really need to make sure that you're talking.
Feeler goes to Infelt. And that'll be an Iowa City West point.
That's a great set. It was about, I'm going to say, 5 or 6 feet off the net, which is perfect because if you're too tight to the net, you can't hit around the block. If you're 5 or 6 feet off the net, even though you think everything's played on the net, if you're 5 or 6 feet off, you can see the block and you can hit around the block.
The bump set. Schmidt tried it, then Iowa City West comes right back. And Shelley Stump had another kill.
Does a really nice job with that block out there, using the hands.
And a timeout on the floor, 7-1, Iowa City West on top of Linn-Mar. As a timeout for the Lions, and Coach Roy Justice gets out his clipboard. Join us Friday night for another edition of Friday Night Lights Live. This week, Decorah will be taking on West Delaware at 7 p.m. Catch it live only on KCRG 9.2. Ryan Schlater along with Barb Randall here this evening, and a little adjustment by head coach Justice. 4th year, 72 and 63 state tournament appearances.
In the last 2 years.
And hasn't West knocked him out of state too?
Yeah, that's both years. Peshkova's back to serve. She's done some damage back there from the serving line tonight.
Nice floating serve. And into the net for
and sometimes,
Megan Allmendinger.
As a hitter, you need to be smart about what you're doing. If the ball is not in the perfect spot for you to take a good swing at it, just put it somewhere. You know, if you need to just roll shot it somewhere, do that. But be smart about your attacks.
And the overpass put away by Olivia Fairfield. A point for Iowa City West, up by the margin of 8.
And there's the overpass with the kill from West.
This time Schminke gets it over the front row. And they go on the opposite side. Stump played up nicely by the back row's Kopic. West with another crack at it. Right over the block, and a nice play by Olivia Fairfield. She saw that coming.
And that's kind of what we were talking about. That set wasn't a perfect set. She couldn't get a good swing on it, so she just put it somewhere. And as you can see, no one from Linn-Mar was ready to play that ball.
Serve goes out. Lions back with the serve.
Linn-Mar's playing a 6-2, Ryan, and what that means is their setter is always in the back row. Now, usually it means that a hitter comes in the front row for the setter, but in this case, number 5, Sydney Schmidt, stays in all the way around, and she sets when she's in the back row, and she hits when she's in the front row. But it's still a 6-2.
Off to Fairfield. Dug it out of there by Gonsaski, who's just checked into the ball game. To go to the opposite side, left side Stump. Over the block and put away. Point Iowa City West.
And different from that, Iowa City West runs a 5-1. So they have one setter who stays in all the way around. And there are disadvantages and advantages to both. But it's just different offenses that are run. And there are a couple others, but those are the main 2 that are common throughout the United States.
Hood-Grafer goes to Allmendinger, and Linn-Mar gets her offense rolling on that play. Still a big deficit here in set number 2. They trail 1-0. Oh, Arctic blast for Olivia Fairfield, the 6'1" senior.
That was a great swing, and the Linn-Mar blocker went up with the setter and unfortunately just missed the timing of it to stay up with the hitter. And I mean, that was an awesome kill for Fairfield. If I'm Coach Justice, I'm telling the Linn-Mar team right now that they need to score this point because when Fleeler's serving, they went on a long run the last couple times she's been serving. So that was a good side out for Linn-Mar.
And there's one. Allmendinger back with the serve. Claire Tupple comes in. She will play in the middle. Claire Tupper, the sophomore. Now looks like a lift over there in the back row. Not quite sure if Stuff knew how she wanted to play it.
Well, it was kind of at a weird height for her
Yeah.
between setting and underhand passing. So it is sometimes tough to call it when it's coming at you that quickly.
And an ace serve for Megan Allmendinger. And Linn-Mar putting together a little bit of a run.
And that's all they need to do is keep, score 2 or 3 and keep Iowa City West to 1 when they get the ball.
All about momentum. Here we go with Fleeler. The set goes off for Fairfield, and that one does go through in Iowa City West.
That's
Gets the serve back.
And that's a great cross-court shot by Fairfield. It's hard to defend the ball that's that close to the line because you think it's going out, and usually the defenders are sucked into the court, and it's hard to make that decision. That's why you tell your defenders, stay close to the lines.
Fleeler, net serve. Side out Linn-Mar, down 13-6.
And now if Linn-Mar can score a couple here, they can get a little momentum, and they're back in it.
Carter Schmenke, a sophomore. The cross court.
That was
Pashkova
interesting
played it
that
up.
time. Iowa City West ran 3 quick hitters. Generally, you don't do that because you don't have an outlet if the pass is bad. But I'm sure their outlet was back row attack. But you see three hitters go up for a quick set, which is pretty awesome in high school volleyball.
You can make it happen, and that time it did. Set goes off to the right. Claire Tupper played up by the back row. Nice play by Molly Mason.
That's too bad.
Uh-oh.
That actually should have been Linn-Mar's point because the ball was so ugly on Iowa City West side. It's too bad that Linn-Mar lost that point because they really ran a nice play. They ran what we call an X, where they had a person from behind the setter run around in front of the setter and a person from in front of the setter run around behind the setter, and they just couldn't turn it into a point.
Schmenke to Holgraver, played up by the Iowa City West women of Troy, and that one put down by Lainey Whitehead.
And Iowa City West has done a nice job of setting, everybody on the court. They're dispersing the ball really well, and that makes it difficult for the other team to know who's going to get the ball.
This time Tupper tries a swing and a point for Linn-Mar.
Great spot for her. Like we talked about earlier, the closer you can get it to that line, if you're hitting from the middle and you can hit the deep corners, those are what I call the golden corners because generally you don't have defenders in those corners. So young middles out there, if you can put the ball deep in those corners, that's where you want to put it.
Nice dig out of there by Schmidt, but Linn-Mar back on the attack. He goes into the net, and Iowa City West point.
Substitution number 8, Olivia Meckies checks in. Olivia Meckies is serving.
Meckies back in for the back row and the serve. A serve.
That was a tough serve. She put it in between a couple players, and that always makes it what we call a spouse or a husband-wife serve. I got it, you take it. It's confusing, and you really have to communicate.
One of the best servers on the team, second best, 96.3% serve efficiency. That one put away by Linn-Mar. Just rolled along the tape and off the block.
Number 21 checks in, Kylie Kopic.
And we just saw Sydney Schmidt take a swing at it in the front row, and when she rotates around to the back row, she'll be the setter. So that's the ideal 6-2 right there.
Kylie Kopic. And the pass. The bump set by Fleeler. And no point yet for Iowa City West. Linn-Mar will give it a shot, but over the net and out. Point Iowa City West.
Back to serve, number 1, Anna Pashkova.
So Anna Pashkova comes back in, the libero. Or are you one of those that calls it a libero?
No, I'm a libero, so
All
I was
right,
happy to
good
hear
deal.
you call it that.
Swing left side. Did it go in? No, out. Wow.
That was a great swing. They need to try that line shot more. The line's hard to hit, especially for her young players. It's hard to hit. So as a young player, if you can practice hitting that line shot, hit it all day long because it's also hard to defend. That ball's coming at you quickly.
They go off to the left. Stump. Not that time. Too much muscle on the swing and back for Linn-Mar's serve.
And Holgrafer's back to serve. She has done a nice job for Linn-Mar tonight, 5'7" senior. And she's one of the returning players from the last year's state qualifying team.
Pass by Mekis. They go off right. Stumpf tries it. Played up by the Linn-Mar Lions, but not able to get it over the net or establish anything. And a point for Iowa City West. Stumpf's jump serve.
Nice.
To go left. Put away by Megan Allmendinger, 6'1" junior.
That's a really tough play for people who are not used to being setters and playing different positions and stuff. That's a 3, and that is one of the hardest balls to hit because it's coming at you quickly, and the set has to be right there, or you're going to swing and miss it, or somebody's going to have to bump it behind you. So that was a great play.
Yeah, Linn-Mar, you can see throughout this contest tonight, at first, everything was getting blocked at the net. They did some adjustments, but Iowa City West still maintaining a marginal lead here in the second set.
Well, and we've seen market improvement from Linn-Mar. I mean, their offense is running better, their defense is playing together better, and they're getting more into a groove. Now they're going to have to step it up a couple times to get competitive here in the third set, but they are making improvement, and that's what every coach wants to see.
And the quick Allmendinger, not that time.
But that was a great play again, and those are the plays that you want to make at this time of the season so that you can be used to it and get those to be successful later in the season. It's a quick ball, as the player's coming around from behind to front, and it's a tough play to do, especially at the high school level.
Point for Fairfield, and that'll do it. Set number 2 goes to Iowa City West. The women of Troy 25, the Linn-Mar Lions 11. They lead 2-0 on KCRG 9.2. As far as I know. I just sit down.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now we're good. Thank you.
I've been commanded.
You should put up your feet and just play with your toes. Or
I'm not sure he'd like that.
Is this my pen? Did you steal it?
No, but
it's
you
yours.
can have it.
Oh, I bet.
pass those around.
I bet.
Aaron, is our amount of talking good? Do you want more of it, less of it? Like last time.
Iowa City West on top, 2-0, 25-14, 25-11 the scoring thus far. Ryan Schlater and Barb Randall, and had a chance to talk with both coaches ahead of time, and Linn-Mar's head coach, Rob Justice. Taking a look at the quote here when we talked to him, I asked about what concerns he had with Iowa City West, and he told me they're really good. And Barb, and I think we're seeing that here tonight, that Iowa City West, no slouch in the Mississippi Valley Conference.
That's right. They haven't lost a lot from last year's state championship team. I'm sure Coach Bresnahan would tell you, we lost this, we lost this, we lost this. But they're really coming together well. They're gelling well. They're putting things, they're trying to speed up their offense, and this is the time of the year to do that because postseason is just around the corner, and so it looks good, and we saw them play, 3 weeks ago or something like that, and it actually is nice improvement from them. I mean, they looked good then, but they look really good now.
Linn-Mar coming back to the gymnasium. West is all set and ready to go. Yeah, Iowa City West, a couple of players have already decided on college. Wingate in North Carolina for Shelley Stumpf, and West Point for Olivia Fairfield. Pushkova's, I think she wants to play some volleyball, still deciding on where exactly to attend. Lots of great volleyball programs around.
There are, and there are a lot of opportunities at all levels to play. I mean, if you want to play after high school, you can. It just depends on what you want to do.
Linn-Mar to serve set 3. Kylie Kopic. And the serve pass. The quick set goes off left side. Simply dumped over by Shelley Stumpf and put away.
Great play by Stumpf. Again, she's been hammering all night, so the defense for Linn-Mar is sucked in. They're sucked back. They're back on their heels, and so she tips it and puts the ball down.
Anna Poshkova. Schmecki will set left side. Now we have a whistle. Looks like a lift call, perhaps. That's what they'll call, I think.
And they've been pretty tight on some of those calls tonight, so that should be expected. That's nothing that we haven't seen tonight. Cole Grafer back to serve for the Lions.
And the pass, Fleeler. There's one knocked down, Olivia Fairfield.
It's interesting to me. A lot of these teams are running what we call threes, and that's a distance about 10 feet. That's probably a little bit higher than a 3, a little slower than a quick tempo. But that is one of the hardest areas for your offense, because it's a hard distance from the setter. It's also very hard to block. So if you can do it well, you can get a lot of kills in that part of the court.
Set 2, whoops, tied at 2. And point Linn-Mar. Mistiming of the jump. I don't think it was a clean set.
Well, I'm not sure it was a clean set, but I'm not sure there was anything wrong with the tip. And Coach Bresnahan's not sure that there was anything wrong either. But again, that's the way it's been called tonight, and you just go with the flow of what's being called.
Fleeler off to left side. Mason. Molly Mason, 5'11", sophomore.
Substitution. Lady Whitehead, number 14, is in. Serving Kelly Fleeler.
There's a freshman Whitehead back into the front.
Fleeler back to serve, and again, this is the rotation, one of the rotations where Linn-Mar needs to concentrate on getting a side out quickly, because Fleeler likes to stand back there and serve a lot of points.
Fairfield and Mason with the block.
Nice, they do a nice job of having their arms there together, and that's a break for Linn-Mar.
Linn-Mar comes right back, tie it up at 4. Linn-Mar will make some substitutions, including Claire Tupper. She'll come in, as will Jessie Sundstrom, a senior, to serve. But Linn-Mar's battling. Much better start for them in this third set. Here comes Fleeler. 3 meters away goes Mason.
Well, and Coach Justice is trying some different things with this lineup, trying different people, and sometimes that's not a bad thing. Put different people in, see how the chemistry is, see what happens, and go from there.
And Fairfield. There's Sundstrom having to pass down low, and they go off to the left side, and Gonzowski goes into the net. And Iowa City West with the point. Serve continues, Olivia Fairfield. And the pass, dumped over on 2. Here comes Iowa City West. The back set, and a lift on Iowa City West.
Yeah, that was it was an interesting set. I don't necessarily know that I would have called a lift on it, but it was pretty far away from the net. We talked a little bit earlier, you want it 5 or 6 feet. That was probably 8 or 9 feet. For a quick set, that's tough to hit. But, you gotta give them credit for trying to pick the pace up on every single play.
Fleeler to Infelt for the point.
Back to serve will be Molly Mason.
Infelt going cross court, right in front of Emma Weldon.
Well, one of the reasons that area of the court is so tough to block, it's about 10 feet from where the setter should be. It's kind of called a 3, but it's inside from the antenna. It's tough to block because you have your outside blocker and you have your middle blocker. They both have to move to it. And so it's hard for them to form their block as well as get there on time.
And the bump set going left side, Stump. And again, Shelly Stump. 216 kills entering tonight's game.
Another look at that play, and one of the reasons she's so successful is she hits towards the deep part of the court and makes the defender have to decide, is it going to be in or is it going to be out, and if it's close, I better play it.
Olivia Meckies to serve. 2-point margin thus far. Here's Schmidt, goes back set, right side, Tepper. Played and dug out of there by Molly Mason. The Stump back over to Linn-Mar, to the right. The left-hander put it down, but it was blocked at the net. Shelly Stump putting the hands up and executed nicely defensively. Let's take a look.
Stump does a really nice job of being in the right place and being solid with her hands. If her hands weren't solid, that ball could hit them and go all over the place, making it tough on her defense.
Linn-Mar goes over the block. Pashkova digs it up. Fleeler tapped over. Not yet. They go left. Get a hold Grafer. Nope, played up and dumped over by 2 for Iowa City West. This time the lefty does it again. Schmidt. Here's Iowa City West. Linn-Mar trying to get back into the group. Dumped over on 2. Dug out of there by Olivia Meckies. And too many hits on Iowa City West. Point Linn-Mar Lions.
That's interesting. I thought I saw the ball touch the blocker's hands, and the ref said, nope, it didn't touch the blocker's hands. It was 4 contacts by Iowa City West. It's a break for Linn-Mar.
Caput to serve. Scores are 25-14, 25-11 Iowa City West. Fleeler, Stump. Dug out by Linn-Mar's back row, Kylie Kopic. They go quick for Infelt. Bump backwards. There's a try by Schmidt. Not successful, and Iowa City West gets the point.
Back to serve will be West Side on Pashkova.
And there's that strong West block again. They're up there, they're together. They're doing a great job. Now that time,
nice tool off by Allmendinger.
Yep, it was a great use of the hands. It went off the hands, which basically means you're never sure which direction it's going to go. And that time it went down and deflected enough that the back row defender could not get it for the ladies of Troy.
Megan Hografer, 5'7" senior, record holder for assists for Linn-Mar. There's one put away by Olivia Fairfield. All right, a lot of marks on the ground here from this gymnasium throughout the season.
Yeah, and you can bet, if you're Linn-Mar and Iowa City West needs a kill, you got to know that it's either going to Stump or Fairfield. So, if you're starting to get on a roll, be prepared for one of those two to be taking it.
Served by Stump. And a Holdgraver tries the left side, and again, executed block at the net. Fairfield and Fleeler are right there.
It's just kind of been one of those nights for Linn-Mar. They get a little something going, and then Iowa City West gets on their blocking again, and they're blocking the heck out of everything.
Yeah, Gonsoski tried to swing it again. That corner just didn't seem to be working for him. On the far side and a timeout.
A lot of players think you have to be really high to block the ball, but most balls just barely pass over the height of the net. So you really only have to be over, 6 to 12 inches over the height of the net. You don't have to be just a super huge high block out there.
Well, another episode of Friday Night Lights kicks off this Friday. The Friday Night Lights team will have highlights and hard hits from around Eastern Iowa. It's all tonight in the extended edition of the KCRG TV9 News at 10. KCRG 9.2, broadcasting tonight from Iowa City West High School. The women of Troy leading 2-0, 25-14, 25-11. The Linn-Mar's battle, don't let the school fool you. Score fool you. They played some good volleyball at times.
They have, and they've done a nice job of fighting and not giving up. It's just, you know, once they start to get on a roll, then Iowa City West does something that kind of slaps them back down a little bit, gets on their own roll.
There you go with Mackey's, and then Iowa City West able to get it across. They'll go down the middle. Almendinger, nice, she'll put it away.
That was a nice swing, and she was able to basically have either angle available to her because there was only one blocker up, and the ball was off the net far enough that she could see what was available. Here's a replay of that. You can see she could go either way with that ball. Nice swing.
Fiedler knocked over Mason. That whistle goes. I think that one hit the ground is what Linn-Mar said. Well, did somebody whistle or not?
Yeah.
They're still playing. I heard the whistle, and the students weren't sure.
One of the trick plays that you can do in volleyball, Ryan, is you can do what's called a pancake. And when you do a pancake, you can lay your hand flat on the floor, and if the ball hits it, it'll bounce off it, just like it was bouncing off the floor. However, when you do that, no part of the ball can hit the floor, or it's considered down. So that's what they're talking about now, is did any part of the ball hit the floor? It's a replay. The down official thought that no part of the ball hit the floor, and the up official thought that the ball hit the floor, so they're going to replay it.
Replay the point. A break for the Lions. And the serve by Sydney Schmidt. And Schmidt, at the last second there, Anna Pashkova didn't know whether or not she wanted to pass it. She decided at the right moment and made the right decision.
Well, they usually say the ball always knows. So it makes, kind of justifies what happened on the play before, whether it was in or out. So
Fiedler serving. Well off the net. Swing by Almendinger.
And I like that Linn-Mar is still taking aggressive swings. You know, it's good to see that they haven't given up. They're still trying to score points, and that's what you want to see out of a young, inexperienced team.
Pass by Kopic. And almost an overpass, tried to save and play by Linn-Mar and into the net. The call against the Lions, and another point for the Trojans.
And on that play,
Troy.
On that play, one of the things you can do with that center line, you can step on it. As long as part of your foot is on it, that's fine. But the minute you step over it or any of your body goes over it without part of it on that line, then you're considered under the net, and the ref's going to call it.
Lainey Whitehead with a point. Fiedler to continue the serve. They go setting it up to the right side. Blocked by Almendinger, but on Iowa City West's side. Nice dig out of there by Gonzowski. Free balled over. Here comes Iowa City West back onto the attack. They go to the opposite side. Knocked over the net by Molly Mason. Dug up by Linn-Mar. They'll try it again. Taken by Gonzowski. Not yet. Quick set down the middle for Olivia Fairfield. And free balled over. West, let's see if they try it again. This time Lainey Whitehead, and she puts it down. Women of Troy just sticking with it.
Well, and you can't ask for much more out of Linn-Mar. They're doing a great job of having nice rallies, staying with it, and then the rally gets to be kind of long, and eventually one of them's got to win that.
Matter of concentrating and hang with it. A timeout for the Linn-Mar Lions and head coach Rob Justice as they trail 20-10. Don't miss the Last Laugh comedy block featuring Everybody Loves Raymond, Friends, King of Queens, and 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory. They're all here weekends, starting at 9:30 on KCRG 9.2.
I don't know if people at home can hear the song right now, but it's Tiptoe Through the Tulips, and it just makes me laugh because when I was little, we had a sleepover. I was like in 5th or 6th grade, and we had like a talent show, and somebody did this song for their talent. It's kind of funny.
Maybe head coach Kathy Bresnahan can bring a ukulele. And
Yeah, she could do this voice, I'm sure.
that'd be a fun pep rally.
Interesting choice of songs. Okay, just makes me giggle. And back to serve, we have Kelly Fleeler. Again, she's been known to go on a few runs as a server, so Linn-Mar wants to make sure they get this side out, especially after the timeout.
Hudgraver off to the left side on the attempt. Here comes Iowa City West back. Dug out by Weldon and free balled over by Weldon. Almost blocked to the net by Almendaire, but able to go down by Lainey Whitehead.
And that time it was a little bit too bad for Linn-Mar. The timing of the set and the approach of the hitter came in and she didn't time it right. So the block was timing with the ball, and it just was too bad for the block because it should have been easier than that.
22-10. Dumped over on 2. Iowa City West, good defense. A nice side on the court by Olivia Fairfield. But Linn-Mar does a good job of keeping it up. And a little duel at the net. They try to send it back in the back row. Played up by Stump. Taken on the right side by Molly Mason. Here's Linn-Mar back the other way. And off the block, we'll try Schminke. Here comes Iowa City West.
Great rally. Net on Linn-Mar.
So West with the point, making it 23-10.
Caroline Hartman for the women of Troy is checking in as her teammates help her with where she's supposed to be in the rotation. It's hard when you come in because you're not exactly sure who you're lining up with.
And the swing blocked at the net. And there was Lainey Whitehead and Molly Mason. And 24-10 here in this third set. Trying to put this one away. And the pass, they go down the middle by Gonsoski, Iowa City West. And nicely free-balled over by Caroline Hartman, the 5'10 senior. The pass, the quick set down the middle. Blocked by Linn-Mar, but it went out. And Iowa City West comes away with the final point, 25-10. And they take care of the Linn-Mar Alliance here tonight, 25-14, 25-11, and 25-10 here this evening.
Well, and like you mentioned a little earlier, Ryan, the score doesn't really indicate how hard Linn-Mar played. They were in a lot of those rallies. They just mostly, any long rally, Iowa City West took advantage of. But Linn-Mar played hard, and they showed improvement throughout the match.
So the big. Of course, right now, the women of Troy, they're playing the Neil Diamond favorite, Sweet Caroline, and for a good reason, of course.
That's right. The team lost one of their players to a moped accident earlier in the season. Actually, it was about 3 weeks before the season started, and her name was Caroline, so it's very meaningful to them. And as are the shirts, Live Like Line. They called her Line.
It's been a very emotional season so far, and Coach Kathy Bresnahan says there's still a lot of crying after every victory. And sharing some hugs right now with the women of Troy fans that have come out for this victory here this evening.
Coach Bresnahan was telling us last week after they beat the #1 Iowa City High team, they play that game for a spike, and the team ran the spike up to Caroline's dad, who was in the stands, and they were, all broken up and like she said, after every match, you know, especially a big win, they're all in tears.
And we hope to visit with the head coach, Kathy Bresnahan. I believe she is going to be making her way up. But, you know, a great win. I'll be interested to see what head coach Kathy Bresnahan does have to say. Yeah, you win 3 games, but you know how head coaches go. They're always looking for something a little bit more and what this team can work on.
Well, and every match you play, you find things that you can do better and you can make better so that hopefully you get another state championship out of it. Want this?
And we'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll visit with head coach Kathy Bresnahan following Iowa City West 3-set victory over Linn-Mar. Back after this on KCRG 9.2. I'll hold the mic because coaches always do this with it and stuff, so they never do. Check, check, check.
Well, you're lucky I'm hoarse because otherwise I'd start singing karaoke.
Oh, that'd be fun. We had a song that we thought we wanted you to do that.
Tulips.
We actually talked about that.
Yeah. Except it was in the TV game I would. We had them Google and they've had nightmares ever since. They never heard a Tiny Tim.
I said, this reminds me of when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
About 800 years ago.
I didn't think you guys had commercial breaks. I didn't
Okay.
think you got commercial breaks.
All right.
Yeah.
And we get to talk to you as long as we want because we have 20 minutes more to film.
Then you better get somebody else.
Yeah,
up here.
we're taking the whole 20 minutes with you.
Oh, great.
So
Okay,
you don't
maybe
get
not
to talk
exactly.
to your
but-
team.
Wow. Great.
Yeah.
They're all yelling at me. We don't need the whole 20
Back in 30.
They don't even want to talk to you for
Yes,
20
you
minutes.
do want to talk to me.
She's for
I'll
20 minutes,
flash
I
you.
said. Erin
And
said
you-
you're her favorite coach.
And
I'm
you
not sure
said
why.
she wouldn't play.
Yeah.
No.
I told you. Oh,
Actually, I should have got it in sooner. That was bad of me. I said, now the juniors for sure would get it. Gum? Oh,
welcome back to Iowa City West High School. As the final here this evening, 25-14, 25-11, 25-10. It was the Iowa City West women of Troy defeating the Linn-Mar Alliance here this evening. Kathy Bresnahan, the head coach of Iowa City West, joining us here, Coach. And a 3-set victory here tonight on your home court. How'd you feel your team played?
I thought early on we controlled the net and did a pretty good job, you know, with blocking, getting some touches. We weren't real pleased with our execution tonight at times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I thought it seemed like anytime Linn-Mar started to get on a roll, you guys kind of started your blocking and got, you know, stopped them from any kind of a roll. And that was key. I mean, they kept you doing what you're supposed to be doing. You guys passed well. You were able to run quick offense. It looked good from up here. So is there anything you can work on from it?
Oh, we weren't pleased with our serving. We thought that we could have hit some smarter shots, but you're right. I mean, Linn-Mar's got a young team this year, and we should have been able to control the tempo, and I think our kids did. You always wanted to be more efficient than we were, but other than that, we did all right.
Well, and we talked a little bit about even after wins, there are always things that you can pick out that you're going to work on and that kind of thing. To move forward and move down the path, what did you see tonight that you liked that you're going to work on and make it even better?
We got to run faster. You know, we haven't had it with an inexperienced setter and someone that hasn't set before. We've got to run a faster offense, and that's what we try to do the last game and a half of this set.
Well, and a couple times you had 3 hitters all going up for quicks. So that's, I mean, it doesn't get much faster than
Right,
that. That's impressive.
Yeah, we said nobody could come in slow.
Yeah,
So-
that's good.
Hey, Coach, you talked a lot about controlling tempo and controlling the tempo and getting things to go with that type of momentum. Is that what you try to establish at every game? Is that to just kind of the feel of your team thinking, if we got the tempo rolling in our way, this is how we play?
Well, you always hope you can, but we feel like we can control the net. We have good blockers. Olivia Fairfield has just been doing a great job. If we can control the net, then other teams have to come to us.
I want to go back and just want you for some of our viewers that haven't had a chance to really get a look at this Iowa City West team. You've had some great victories. I mean, City High, obviously, for the Spike, the Marshalltown tournament. You knocked off Wahlert here. Past few weeks, you've been playing some great volleyball.
We have been. We've had some losses. I mean, they're all to ranked teams, but at the same time, our kids are stepping up. Actually, they've surprised me. If you would have told me when we lost Caroline Found that we would have this kind of success at this point in the season, I would have thought people were crazy. But boy, they've responded. Our kids have really done a nice job.
And I think they're heckling you back there behind the camera. That's what many players are. We talk about chemistry on this team, but even with the death of Caroline, it just seems like this is a situation where there's a lot of love on this team.
This was a very bonded team. This was an experience that you don't expect a team to go through, and it's been a very emotional season. I think some of our big wins, have been the hardest for us. There's so many reminders, but our kids are goofy. Caroline was goofy, and they want to play for her, not necessarily win for her, but they want to play like her.
All right. You got, let's see, what do you have coming up? You got another Saturday off?
We have another Saturday off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice. We play Waterloo East here next week. Then we have the big West Side tournament up in Jefferson.
Is there such a thing as having too many Saturdays off? As a coach, do you like having a lot of the Saturday tournaments? Does it kind of wear on you, or does it just depend on how well the team's playing?
I guess from a coach's perspective, it's nice to have some Saturdays off. It gets to be grueling. We used to go 6 weekends in a row, and that is really tough on kids, and they break down, and we needed this. We needed this time off, so we'll take it.
It's also tough on coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a stressful thing, and your life depends on what 16 and 17-year-old kids
Right.
are thinking and doing, and it's a nice break.
Well, when we went to Wahlert 2 weeks ago, we left at 5 in the morning, and we got home at 10:30 that night. It's a long day.
It is long.
Kids are worn out, and it's nice to have the break.
Before we do let you coach, and as this team continues to move forward, you battle coming up here for the postseason. Do you guys talk about state tournament? You talk about, okay, we're the champions. Is this the kind of thing that you discuss with your team, or is it just something you don't worry about? What's your sort of philosophy on this?
We're pretty proud of that state championship. So we've talked about it. We've talked about the pressure that comes with that. We want to get back there. I think anything less than getting back to the title game would be a disappointment. We got proud athletes and a proud program, and we expect to be there.
All right, well, keep at it, Coach. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks so much.
We hope to see you there.
I hope to see you guys there.
All right. Kathy Bresnahan joining us here on 9.2 KCRG following their victory here this evening, 25-14, 25-11, 25-10 over Linn-Mar. We'll take a timeout, continue our post-game here following Iowa City West victory here tonight. How much more do we have to fill?
I'd say about 7 minutes. It's only 10 after 8.
I get up early in the mornings.
What?
I get up early in the mornings.
What time?
4 to 4. Okay, and then. Okay. How much talking?
Well, Stump's walking out the door right now. Want me to call at her? Oh, she won't hear me now. No, not in the mic. I wouldn't yell in the mic.
Okay, thanks.
Well, Fairfield's still out there.
And make sure they know or tell us who it is, because if they just have their T-shirt on,
Yeah,
we're not going to know
we'll
who
be
it
like
is.
Easter Bunny. That's Fleeler. I need to pull this back over.
And you can keep my mic hot because I've just been holding that for.
Hi. Nice job tonight.
Let's see.
Nothing's happening right now. 15 seconds.
Welcome you back to Iowa City West this evening, defeating Linn-Mar in Mississippi Valley Conference volleyball, 25-14, 25-11, 25-10, 3 sets to 0. Linn-Mar falls to 8-14. Iowa City West improves to 20-5. We have a chance to talk with senior setter 5'10", Kelly Fleeler, who joins us now. A great win here tonight. How'd you feel out there?
I think we lacked a little energy in the beginning, but we definitely picked it up. So it was a nice step forward, but we know we got to keep working on things every game.
All right, I'll be the coach right now, Kathy Bresnahan. Why'd you lack energy?
I'm not sure. It just seemed a little slow. I don't think we probably warmed up properly, but we just didn't quite get it going. And we finally, the coach told us to run our offense faster, and that just really picks things up and everything. Everything clicks then.
So tell us a little bit about your transition to being a setter. I mean, we know why that happened and all of that, but tell us what it feels like from going to not being a setter to having to set this quick offense.
Right. I've never sat before in my life, so it's completely different. And
well, we can't tell. Yeah, you look good out there. And you're running a fast offense, and sometimes you have 3 quick hitters coming in. I mean, you're doing a really nice job with it.
Yeah.
So in your head, what's kind of going through your head as you're out there trying to, I mean, as a setter, your movements are completely backwards from any other position.
Yeah,
so
there's so much more to think about.
Yeah.
I never realized that. But Brez has done an amazing job getting me reps. All my coaches have as much as I can. And then my hitters just, wherever I put the ball, they make it look better and just do an awesome job. So it's all my hitters, credit to them.
And that's nice too, but you get to a lot of balls and you're putting balls so they're hittable.
Right.
But I mean, not having done that all your life, to me it's just amazing that you can make that transition as a senior, and you're doing such a nice job running a fast offense. It's incredible.
Thank you so much.
And as we continue on here and talk about this game here in Linn-Mar, there was a time here where you guys jumped out to a great lead and then settled back a little bit here. Did you feel the momentum kind of grabbing at you a little bit as you got into the second and third and felt the flow come your way?
I think so. I think we finally picked it up, realized everything was clicking. We got the passes there, the hits there. Everything was going better then.
Gotcha.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you were thinking when you were serving tonight. You were back there a lot, and you were on a lot of rolls when you were serving. What was your game plan for serving tonight?
Scott Sanders, our assistant coach, gives us zones, so we just kind of follow that through and
try and pick them apart.
He tells me like get my toss up or everything, so it's kind of like listen to the coaches and just take a deep breath when you're back there and go.
Well, you did a nice job. It's hard to have that many runs in the game of volleyball, and you did a nice job from the service line getting runs and extending that lead, and that's not easy.
Thank you.
All right, Kelly Fleeler joining us here following Iowa City West victory. Hey, congratulations, and hope to see you down the road, all right?
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Joining us here this evening, and again, Barb Randall, as we take a look at some of the highlights here coming up. You know, this Iowa City West team started off with a bang, started to establish the block early, got some flow to their offense, utilizing some of the outside hitters, whether it be the right or the left-handed hitters, and got things going. But Linn-Mar hung in there at the same time.
Linn-Mar hung in, and they did a nice job with probably the team that's going to be ranked #1 in the state when the next rankings come out. And they rallied, and they aren't expected to win those rallies against a team like Iowa City West. But Fleeler talked about not having their energy, and I couldn't tell that from the beginning. I mean, they were controlling the net and the tempo from the beginning, and it looked good from up here.
Yeah, it's one thing when you're playing in full of a packed house, and then other days you're not. You still have to get yourself involved with the entire team. And Coach Bresnahan talked about this team is starting to get that chemistry that they need. So that's essentially how things go for them. So yeah, it turned out just to be a great outing for them. Anytime you can win over Mississippi Valley Conference team, and especially in 3 sets, any MVC victory is a good win.
That's exactly right. And, you know, Iowa City West will take things from it. Linn-Mar will take things from it. And the next time they meet, it'll be probably a little bit of a different story.
So that'll wrap it up for us here tonight from Iowa City West Gymnasium as the women of Troy come out with the Mississippi Valley Conference victory to up their mark to 20-5 overall, 5-1 in the conference, and Linn-Mar falls to 8-14 and 0-5. 25-14, 25-11, 25-10. They win at 3-0. For Barb Randall, I'm Ryan Schlater, and good night for KCRG 9.2.